I think it's a triangle, and down there, society is. So we have to be focused on the reason why we're there as public service reporters and networked journalists is not due to help the state or the market, it's help society. And the journey for DR is this. We have come too far away, being too commercialized. And we need to focus more on society and not focus on me, angling every story on me, not focus every story on them, but focus all our stories on us. And that's why we're here, to help society. And I love the slogan for your company, World Economic Forum, committed to improve the state of the world. I mean, if we could just be committed to improve the state of Denmark, that would be good. So we want to be a GPS system for Danes. And our journalism goes from providing information to people to providing navigation. And to be a GPS system, you need to be updated. And then you should skip the little stupid woman telling people driving left or go right. You should tell people that you have the ability to turn, but we shouldn't decide where people should go. Then we change our role.
How many people in the audience like this concept of being, let's see? The question is whether you like the fact of having constructive way of reporting. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, in Australia. How the hell did you get politicians to agree to do this?
Because they want to be published. They want to be seen. And if you talk to I mean, not every politician is by heart corrupt or stupid. We have a tendency to think that. But if you talk to them and say, I mean, I believe not long ago, we voted on people who could represent our special interest. I think in the future we will vote on people who have good ideas to solve our common problems and have the social capacity of negotiating with people who are not like themselves. And doing this, we could actually test whether or not they had good ideas and if they had capacity of being together with other people and coming up with solutions. So we were testing that and talking to politicians about that. They liked it. They are so fed up with news reporting. So they wanted to do something else. And we are now preparing to do another one here in autumn. And politicians, they line up for hours. They would love to participate in this.
Okay. Thank you very much. I will pass the baton to Naveen Naqvi, a journalist. And Naveen is a very good example of what it means in your career, pushing forward and always trying to use the best pen that is available. In fact, she has done journalism on TV, on radio. She Twitters, she has her own blog. She was an anchor person. So in her career, although she's very young, she has tried them all. So she tries these new pens to tell a story. And I mean, how much adding a new tools in your toolbox helped you as a journalist in reporting a story?
It's made a huge difference. As a broadcast journalist, what you want to do is people look towards you for answers, right? But now, because the times are so complex, the questions are not so easy to answer. So it's so much better to look to people to give the answers as well, to engage them in dialogue, I found. When I used to do the morning news program, what I would do is I would have politicians and opinion makers. I would interview them. So what I would do is I would put out the agenda of my program, the person I would be interviewing, on Twitter and on Facebook. And it was amazing how many people started switching over to watching this program, right, called Breakfast at Dawn, because they, in a country like mine, and which is often the case in the third world, people are
Pakistan, because you haven't read your page 109
you didn't do
yet.
your homework. Yeah. So people can be quite disempowered in Pakistan, and they loved the fact that they had a voice, they had direct access, they could communicate to the people with whom they had so many grievances. And those people, because it was a live show, they had to answer, right?
Can you give us an example on how this helped you with your reporting on climate change, which I know you did
That's right. Well, an example of that is when I was doing a story on this artificial lake, which has been formed just now in Hunza. And that came about because of a landslide. Now, the landslide happened because there was some irresponsible development work going on with the highway near Hunza. So now everybody's talking about the story, right? All the politicians arrive, all the media people arrive, and it's like a circus, right? But there is this one guy, an assistant commissioner, right, who nobody knows, and he's tweeting. He's tweeting constantly and saying his story, which is he is right there on the ground. And I picked up his tweet, and I retweeted it. I put it into a blog post, and next thing you know, all the newspapers are talking to him. So that's one way that I think that the social media really, or this networked journalism, as
How
you say.
many of you in the audience use, for example, Twitter as a source of information, provided then you check it and verify with other sources? Do we have any tweet? Not yet. You're twittering, but just push it.
But sorry, if I
No,
may.
go ahead, please.
Yeah, one of the things that that I saw here yesterday in the discussion, Lori Goring, I think her name is, from Reuters, was saying that it's very difficult to make a story from the south interesting to the north. Coming from Pakistan, I think this is an excellent way for people of that country, that part of the world, to be heard in places in the north, countries in the north, such as Global Voices. That's what they do. All these young bloggers, they all put their opinions out there, and it's accessible to the mainstream media as well. So I think that it's an incredible, incredible platform.
Which do you think are the value that you keep and try to protect while adapting these new tools in order for you to still be called a journalist? So, we have this part of the public servant, but providing context and information. Which are the key values that you find challenging to defend, but you have to defend?
As a blogger,
yes.
as an internet journalist?
As a blogger, again, we said that there is a journalist of the future. We didn't call him a Twitter or a blogger. We just, the thesis is a person who has a value set and work in a network of informer and moderate the conversation. So what is the trickiest things you have to do when you get this information from these sources, from the news sources?
Well, in Pakistan, of course, the trickiest thing is to somehow remain anonymous, actually, because it can be that your site can be hacked into, that you can be threatened, harassed, and so on. So that's that's the biggest challenge, I would say.
Which is quite strong, because we do talk about this new technology as tool for journalists. And last year in this same conference, we were discussing conflict, and someone from Kenya was explaining us how mobile had been used to increase violence after the result of the election. So these are not, these tools have hazards if they're not properly used in the proper way. I want to go to Robert, and the reason is that yesterday I was listening to a panel in this room about sexing up climate change, and it was kind of interesting because they were talking about using sex or using human stories or using simple 3-minute stories on the radio when the reality is very complex. So I don't know whether complexity can be simplified to that level and whether you can have one voice, a journalist, deciding which one is the right track to take when you are explaining something where the people working in environment, and we were commenting with the panel before,